Hi guys, thanks for joining us for episode 3. Thank you for all the mails. Because of those mails and the questions, we're still here. Keep it up, please. Matt, tell me about your t-shirt.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite shirts. It says "Don't drink and root." So this is for the Linux community, you know, the Linux community, hopefully in Azure. And what this actually does is, well, do it and find out.
And guys, also don't PowerShell and drink because you're going to have the similar consequences.
Yeah. And I like your shirt. What does it actually say?
You don't just get binary like this, dude.
Is it a small shirt?
It's binary code, which, as we all know, everything is done in binary in the IT industry. Guys, why don't you guys Google this or Bing it, and let's see what you can come up with. You guys tell me what's on the shirt. Right, let's have a look at the question for the week. So Jason in Johannesburg, says he recently did a cost comparison between an on-prem rental finance hardware solution and Azure. He says to me he's surprised this almost doubled the price. What gives?
One of my favorite questions, Jason. Thank you for the question. It is quite an interesting question, and we get this question a lot, and I love answering this question. But I mean, also, once again, Jason, how long is a piece of network cable? but anyway, yeah, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so I think what happens with a lot of the comparisons is that we take either hardware or servers like for like based on our traditional requirements that we had, especially pertaining to hardware. So if you bought a server in hardware, you would buy an 8-core processor with that could give you 64 cores on multi-threading and all of that kind of stuff, and then you could get you'd buy 64 gigs of RAM because you don't know when you might need it.
And we all know how we quote or estimate virtual servers, right? You take your core count, multiply that by 5, times it by 2, and then add 10 for safety. That is not how we do this.
So I think that's where we come into the risk and the challenge of capacity planning costing the business a lot of money. What we can do in Azure is, because it's mainly a pay-as-you-use model, it's very modular based, all of that kind of stuff. It is important to make sure that we select resources that are just enough for our workloads, and we don't need to scale. We don't need to sort of bring in the base model of hardware to support that application just in case, because we've got the ability to just scale up automatically should we need this.
And I think you can also scale down, so you can scale up, scale down.
Definitely. I mean, that's where the cost saving really is going to be. I've seen a lot of the time when you and I have been working on Azure pricing and estimates for some of the companies that we've done this for, we've come across that if we've taken a direct comparison from what the customers got on premise, we run into this challenge on Azure. And the trick to that is to not take it as is. It's to actually, and I mean, we should do this on most cloud platforms. I don't think it's actually the way you move to cloud. However, we understand that it does look double the price if you're going to take it like for like.
But I'll tell you what, Jason, why don't you send us your build, let us have a look at it, and let's see what we can do for you.
Yeah, Jason, and this is to everyone. I think for everyone, what we can do is, you know, send us your builds and let us help you go through this process of comparing the cloud estimates on Azure as opposed to your hardware or hardware rental solutions, and let us see where we can sort of optimize and save some of that cost, because I think we've done it quite successfully already. We've done a few like that.
There's some other cool stuff that you're on Azure that you haven't factored that you get for free. For instance, availability sets. So you can have your machines running across different data centers. You also have 3 copies of your data stored around the data center. So if something happens to the one, you've got 2 recovery points that you can go to. Any other cool stuff?
No, I definitely think so. Onto something there. I just remembered, load balancing in Azure is also free if you are doing internal load balancing, and there's a lot of benefit to internal load balancing that on-premise is going to cost you quite a lot because you don't actually have a load balancer. So you're going to try and make it work with switches and different things, but the load balancer really does give you that efficiency in Azure, and it's free if you do it internally.
And then Azure's also got a traffic manager that helps you route your traffic to wherever you want to go. So you're saving money that way, not having all these other servers spin up when you need them.
Yeah, not even to mention, like, so something quite basic like a network security group acting as like a very basic firewall that allows you to sort of do NAT rules in Azure for your servers or your IPsec tunnels and all of that kind of stuff. I think it really is.
Okay, I think now you're talking binary now, IPsec and that. I think let's calm down there. But Jason, so have a look at those features. Even though you might think the bill is slightly more expensive, you get all these cool features for free.
Yeah, and like I said, going back to let's do a proper, scope of it. Let's look at just catering for the workload, not for what we think we might need. Because if we might need something, we know we've got the comfortable feeling that it will just be there for us on tap whenever we want it. So I think that is very beneficial.
All right, and as you guys know, we normally finish off with the geek question of the week, or geek answer or fact of the week.
Yeah, geek fact. Yeah.
Not a 007 movie. I'm sure you guys have all heard of Spectre and Meltdown. Those would be cool characters.
Oh, here we go.
Spectre, give me a call. I'll make you melt down. So as we know, you'd have to patch your own things on-prem. All right. On Azure, they've actually already patched the infrastructure, and they're just asking you just to patch your current VMs that you're currently running in there.
Yeah, I think when people were alerted about Spectre and the Meltdown and all of that kind of thing, I think Azure was probably one of the first people to quickly send out notifications to tell everyone, guys, we are working on this, we're patching it. And I think by the time people read it, they'd probably done at least 10 data centers already.
Okay, guys, we hope you enjoyed the show. Please do not forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next week.